You know how important that is. Our dear sister Bola, whom I'm immensely proud of for the strides that she has made in the banking sector and continues to make, with no scandal behind anything that you did in the financial sector. So glad to have you deliver this powerful, inspiring speech to our students, to our graduates. So, just knowing that you're now part of a global network of knowledge is incredible. How many of you were able to connect with other Nexford students from the rest of the world? How many of you? The rest of you, what were you doing? You were exposed to a global network, and you did not make an effort to find someone within that network. Okay, it's not yet late. What you need to do is to introduce yourself to someone who also has received Nexford education. Is that not so, Father? That's an incredible network. You were just exposed to the world. All it took was to you to send an email and say, hello, I'm from Nexford, Nigeria. Would you mind if we could chat even for 5 minutes? That's the world being your oyster. And yet you refuse to eat anything of it. It's not yet late. Can you say it's not yet late?
It's not yet late.
It's not yet late. So, I think that I gave me 30 minutes to speak, but I'm going to use less than that so we can capture some time for other things. Because the special person that we have brought today, in the person of Peter Oby, who loves to pretend and tell you people that he's just a trader. He doesn't know what to say. I would want him to get a couple of the time added to his so that he would be able to say more. But there are a couple of things that I do want to leave you with. Number one is the range of knowledge you acquired at Nexford. I want you to value it with everything you've got. And I want you to broaden it even more. Because now you have the foundational part of that knowledge, of that range. Now it is important that you should deepen it on your own. Don't be slothful. Don't say that I have received Nexford certificate and that's all there is to it. When you go before the world of employment, which is what we've prepared you for, what would normally happen is people want to see what you have added on your own to what was given to you. Are you hearing me? It's very important, therefore, that you should be able to say to the world that I got an Nexford certificate and this is what I have built on top of it. Have you heard me? Very important. Number two thing that I want you to take with you following this graduation is how important it is for you to actually take a problem and solve it. Are you hearing me? Just take a problem. It can be a simple problem. It can be a mid-complex problem. It can be a really complex problem. I want you to take one problem and solve it. And be the author of a solution to a problem. Because in this world of work that you're exposed to following your graduation, whether it means that you're looking to be promoted in your existing workplace or you're looking for new opportunities, I want you to be able to present to the world a problem solved by Atinuke, solved by Oro, solved by Oh, your name now is Father Iro also, because I don't think our compare did not admit of the Father Iro, but I really loved that name because it's a play on your Fadil, you know. Or, you know, whomsoever you are, we want to see an authentic solution that has come from you because you got the best of skilled education. That's what we pride ourselves for at Nexford. Not just a bunch of words threaded together and given to you. This is skilled education that you have achieved. And it's 21st century skilled education. So solve a problem and let your name be attached to that solution. It will be important. The fact is that when you go before boardrooms these days, people don't care about the certificate you've brought. They care about the complex situations that you tackled. So how many of you are going to solve a problem following this graduation? That is extremely important. And I know that we will be looking out for your solutions. The number 3 thing that I'd like you to know, because today's graduation is happening at a time that the world, as you heard from Fadil, as well as from our dear sister, Mrs. Bola Deshola, is a world where everywhere you go now, the conversation is on how are we going to live with AI? That's the topic. I feel so sad for Nigerian organizations, Nigerian companies, the Nigerian government, if it is not realizing that there is a sea change that has come upon our world. I was at Davos and I was a speaker at Time Magazine event. And the main speaker was speaking about AI. Guess what he said? He said that with artificial intelligence, we are likely to now solve problems that would have taken us 100 years to solve in 10 years. Did you hear me? That we can take a problem that would have taken us 100 years to solve, that we now will be able to solve it. In the next 10 years, it will take 10 years to solve a problem that would have taken us 100 years to solve. Then he added an interesting rider. He said he and his team are working to see whether it could become a problem that should take us 1,000 years to solve, that we'll be able to solve in 10 years. Do you know what that means? That's an entirely different world. That's the world in which you're graduating. That's the world in which you're being thrown to a world of words. Now, if you are just balancing and judging yourself against a Nigerian standard, I'm sorry for you. Because this is a complete transformation, a radical transformation. What this means, therefore, is that those of you who, when the class on artificial intelligence, you simply said, what will concern me with artificial intelligence? Who is going to need artificial in this Nigeria? They are dreaming. Hey, you still have the opportunity to take this as a single course after this graduation. Because I am here to let you know that the world of works that you are in is different from our world of works. Those of us in our 60s can tell you clearly that many did not even bother to touch the computer. They had secretaries that downloaded emails for them and would put it in a file for them. And they were okay. They actually got promoted. But not your generation. So this whole world that you're in, you have to master it. And it means that, as she said, your curiosity should be 120%, not even 100%. Now, the leading change part of your team this year is very good. But guess what? My father said to us that if we can live by the motto, I serve, therefore I lead, we will never go wrong with life. I serve, therefore I lead. Those of you who are quickly jumping and wanting to lead, you are a disaster waiting to happen. But I pray to God that that's not amongst you. Those who are in a hurry to lead are often disastrous. Those who are in a hurry to embrace, I want to lead, make me the leader, that's a danger to society. What we hope we have inculcated the most in you is a sense of service as being the best form of leadership. Are you listening?
We are listening.
Service is the best form of leadership. And so as you go into this world, into this society that awaits you, it must be that you go with a culture of service. If life is all about you getting one promotion, buying a new car, getting a house, then indeed you become the most miserable of men or women. Life is much more than that. We hope that for you, you see your graduation today as the opportunity to be of even higher service to the world. I thought I would hear somebody say amen.
Amen.
And now as I begin to wrap this up, let me use the framework that my sons, Chinemelu and Oby Ezekwesili, the Ezex twins as they are known, basically framed, and which I have used to my utmost joy. It's called the framework of intention. The framework of intention. Number one on that framework says, slow down. Isn't it amazing that you would be told to slow down? Well, it turns out that slow down is an important step to take. Slow down to make speed. Slow down to gain advantage. Some of you are in a hurry. In that hurried state, you're not going to be people who are contemplative, who are reflective. You will not be people who are ponderous. You will not be people who ask the right questions. And guess what? It will be a big mistake and a blunder to not have those moments. Because a slow down moment is a moment of research. It's a moment of inquiry. It's a moment that creates the range of things that would support what your real good step should be. Now, slow down is important because Einstein, the most intelligent of them, and I would need only 5 minutes to get my solution. Slow down and ask the right questions. Adopt this as a principle because I was not the typical African parent and said, how can my children be teaching me something? I learned to. I took it to heart and I've been the better for it. Slow down. Number one. You know what their number two is? Give gratitude. Give gratitude. We're in a culture where people have difficulty now giving gratitude. You have to give gratitude to these parents and guardians that have supported you, spouses that have carried the cost, not just of paying school fees, but the cost of having to take charge of things that you should have been doing. They were doing them.
Absolutely.
Give gratitude for what brought you up to where you are. Give gratitude for the opportunities that enabled you to be the person that we celebrate today. Give gratitude to God. Give gratitude to all the factors that enabled the person that you are. Give gratitude to yourself for putting in the work that brought you here. Don't despise the past. Give gratitude for the past. Give gratitude. Give gratitude to your classmates. Give gratitude to Fadil for Nexford. Don't have damning, kind of mind. You got an international level education on a financing structure that you would not find easily. Give gratitude for it. Give gratitude. Give gratitude for the faculty that spent so much preparing the best of lectures for you. Give gratitude. There's nothing more beautiful than gratitude. God would not even punish you for being ungrateful to him, but God would punish you for being ungrateful to all your fellow human beings. Learn how to give gratitude. Can you help me tell the person next to you? Form the habit of gratitude. Gratitude to others and gratitude to yourself. Gratitude to all that surround you. Give gratitude for being a Nigerian. Goodness. I love the fact that I am not from one of the tiny countries in West Africa. I'm not going to mention any name. Give gratitude. Gratitude is an important thing. And then number 3 is we must take responsibility. That's the number 3 on the Zex Twins framework of intention. Take responsibility. My dear graduates, you must take responsibility. Are you comfortable with Africa being a laggard continent? This continent, according to data, will have 90% of the world's poor people living in it by 2030. Is that the continent you want to become a great man in? Is that the continent you want to be the richest person in? No, that's not the continent you want. The continent that you can drive, because the spirit of private capital, the spirit of private enterprise is the driver of the structural transformation of economies all over the earth. The truth is that the education you have received is not so that you will get a fatter pay. It is education to enable you be the drivers of the structural transformation of our continent at a time that technology gives the greatest level of exponential change in structure and opportunity. So take responsibility. Take responsibility for cultivating the new ideas that will be propellers of the growth of our continent. Take responsibility for making sure that our society is a society governed by rules. That it is a society that rewards effort, not indolence. That rewards application of mind. That rewards values, not vices. You have a responsibility, dear graduates of Nexford. We want it to be that when the world begins to celebrate you, we can sit where we are and say, of course, dear graduates of Nexford, what were you expecting? Listen to me. Of all the 3 things that can make anybody great, character, competence, and capacity, the greatest of them all is character. Because without character, the person who is competent is totally useless. The person who is capable is totally useless. But with character, layered on with competence and capacity, there's nothing that can stand in your greatness. It's on this note that I want to invite our keynote speaker for today, somebody who I am proud to have known as the governor of my own state, Anambra State. Yes. Mr. Peter Oby represents this whole thing about having a sense of purpose and direction about life. I say this because Mr. Peter Oby graduated philosophy, a BSc in philosophy from the University of Nigeria, just like I did, having been a University of Nigeria undergrad, graduate. But guess what Mr. Peter Oby has done to epitomize what I have been telling you about building on what you already have? There is hardly any top university in the world that Peter Oby didn't go then to acquire a certificate of one kind or the other in executive programs. So executive program in every university that you can relate to in the world. He gets said to get more knowledge, and then he turns around and tells you, I don't know what to say because I'm a trader. And then he goes on and begins to tell you in as much analytical way as possible how data correlates to governance and prosperity of nations. Peter Oby has activated the Take Responsibility magazine, because what he did was to then say, I'm going to run for office. But guess where the Take Responsibility aspect really resonates with me? The fact that he has managed to show a different way of engaging the political system after the elections, which we will do well to not start talking about. Guess what he did not do? He did not go away and sit somewhere so that he would show up some years later. He has engaged the Nigerian society. That's what Take Responsibility is all about. So, dear graduates, as I say thank you to your parents and spouses and every other person who has come to celebrate you, I would also like you to honor your keynote speaker today, who, despite his tough schedule, made it a duty, because according to him, he did not want my trouble, to come to spend this time with us. He will leave here and run straight to the airport to catch another flight onto something, but he came to honor you. So give honor to whom honor is also due. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Peter Oby, your keynote speaker.